Free to be free. Not the most original slogan, but I wonder how far this freedom goes. Thank you. Probably be back later.
I think we'll leave Emma alone and we'll just go bother Ryan. Ryan will be available now. In the Atlas building. It's in the other door, though. Oh, it's our friend.
Would you start a session? Do you mind?
I'm terribly sorry. I'll leave you in peace.
Almost as though he doesn't recognize us from the woods. Almost as though we were supposed to see this scene first. Bad. Whatever.
Ryan!
Yes?
Detective Inspector Jenks. I'm conducting an investigation in the area. Wouldn't mind asking you a few questions. Is that all right?
Come in, Inspector.
Thank you.
Drink, Inspector.
I'd better not, eh?
So you wanted to speak to me?
I believe that Kate Vine was a student at Atlas.
Kate Vine? Well, yes, she was. All of this has been thoroughly investigated, Inspector. It was suicide.
Well, we have reason to believe there may be rather more to it than that.
Really? Well, then, in that case, I'd be prepared to assist in any way possible.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Ryan is our fifth official suspect, so we've got to start over at the beginning with all the clues. Again, I don't remember which ones we specifically need, but he's pretty entertaining to watch. Very community theater, so...
I believe the last time you saw Kate Vine was at the pub last Friday, then you came straight back with some of the students, is that right?
Yes, I like to have a glass of port or two after a long day. Benefits of being married to the landlady.
How did she seem that night?
The landlady?
Kate.
Oh, Kate. Well, she was her usual self, drunk.
That was usual.
It was for her, yes. I mean, it didn't impair her ability, though. She was a very bright star, lots of potential, very enthusiastic.
So she seemed to be enjoying the course?
Well, as far as anybody could tell, yes.
When did you first meet her?
When she joined, about 3 months ago.
And you hadn't met her before then?
No.
So you didn't suspect there was anything wrong?
Well, do you mean, did I expect her to drown herself? Of course I didn't inspect her. It was quite a shock. Nobody expected that.
Have you seen this before?
Not that I recall.
You don't know whether Kate had lost this or not?
No, I've never seen it before, sorry.
Does Simon Thompson ride a bike, do you know?
I think so, yes. I think he drives as well, but I might be mistaken.
It's kind of interesting. Not really, but Simon said he doesn't drive. But, again, this is one person versus another, so we can't really compare those two facts. So, we just keep going. Ryan would know about bottles. No, of course not.
Have you tried Simon's homebrew?
Does he make homebrew? No, I haven't had the pleasure, sorry.
Know what this is?
Yes, it's a freedom necklace. It's a symbol that we use on the course. It's supposed to represent freedom from the chains of your ancestry.
Have you ever bought one of these?
I haven't, but I've seen the students wearing them.
What do you know about the broken window at the back of the pub?
Oh, Rebecca told me about it. I don't know how it got smashed, though. I told her to tape over it. We can't have anybody cutting themselves. You have to be very health and safety conscious these days.
Can you tell me about this?
Haven't seen that for a while. We had a friend who used to make them for us for the course. He passed away last year.
What does the symbol mean?
It's borrowed from paganism. It's the symbol of the triple goddess, the mother, maiden, and crone, represented by the waxing and waning of the moon. It's an ancient symbol. It predates Christianity. Some people say that it dates back to Paleolithic times.
And is that relevant to the course?
Well, no. I mean, it's a symbol we dabbled with, but it's not particularly relevant. We don't use it on the course, no.
Have you seen one of these before?
I believe that looks like a scrying mirror to me.
You have seen one before?
Well, I used to have one myself, actually, along with lots of other bits and pieces of that nature. Silly things, you know.
Really?
Yes, when I was in my teenage years, I had quite an obsession with that kind of thing. I was a very somber child, and well, not that you could tell, always playing fantasy games, reading books about that kind of malarkey, you know.
What sort of books did you read?
Well, books on black magic, not the chocolates, witchcraft, satanic rituals, that kind of thing. I grew out of it, of course.
But you're not into that sort of thing now.
Of course I'm not. I mean, I don't need to believe in the supernatural, Inspector. The natural world is far more interesting. Don't you think so?
Do you know anything about an argument in the pub last Friday?
What time?
I believe it wasn't long after the pub opened.
No. I usually leave for the manor house about 6. I start preparations around 6:30. I like to get a head start.
Tell me about this.
It's the first one we ever had made. We had it designed by an agency after we'd spent weeks trying to find a name for this place.
It took you weeks.
Don't be like that, Inspector. I thought it was a rather grand name. Actually, if I'm being honest, I plucked it out of thin air one night in the George while I was having a few gin and tonics. Well, actually, somebody left a book and I stole it.
That book was Atlas Shrinked? Atlas Shrubbed? Something like that. I don't remember.
Do you know what this is?
Looks like chopped tea bags to me. What is it?
I just thought you might know.
I don't know anything about plants, Inspector. What you should do is ask Rebecca. She knows far more about these things than I do. Messy things, growing things.
Have you ever heard of Salvia divinorum?
No. What is it?
It's a hallucinogenic plant, a legal one, at least for the moment.
I've no interest in drugs, Inspector. My job. That's the only drug I need. As trite as that may sound.
Do you know any students who may have used hallucinogens?
No. My students aren't interested in that kind of thing. Besides, no one is allowed drugs or alcohol onto the site. I don't think anyone has ever
Holding
bought drugs.
alcohol right now.
Do you have any medicines on site at all?
No, we're not allowed. Insurance purposes.
What can you tell me about Liam?
Oh, Liam. You mean the boy who committed... Very unfortunate, isn't it?
Did you know him?
Oh, yes. Well, when I say know him, I met him in the pub. Seemed very happy sort of person. Well, I say he seemed happy. He can't have been, can he?
If I did this, would that mean anything to you?
It's a devil's sign, isn't it? Is that what you're getting at, Inspector?
This is not something you use on the
Of course
course.
it's not something we use on the course, Inspector. I don't even know what that could possibly mean, exactly.
Can you tell me a bit about the phrase free to be free?
Free to be free, my favorite motto. Well, we teach our students that people, they suffer from excessive guilt, don't they? Excessive self-criticism, excessive doubt. Evils of excess, we call them. And we tell our students that if they rid themselves of these evils, then they're free to realize their full potential.
Who came up with all this?
I have a background in psychology.
Honestly?
Yeah, don't look so surprised, Inspector. There's an intellect lurking in here.
When did you come up with the phrase?
When we were based at the village hall. When I say we, I came up with the phrase. Dad's more the money man.
And very successful at it too, I hear.
Oh, he's successful, but he's not a creative man. Dad suffers from a lack of imagination.
That's it for the time
Okay.
being. Thank you.